Hey, I'm John Burke, the author of Imagine Heaven. I wrote about when people clinically die, near-death experience, how their common experience really integrates exactly with what the Bible says. And one that I wanted to just share briefly that's astounding to me, and if you know the Book of Revelation well, Brad was an 8-year-old blind kid. He had not ever been able to see, and he's living in the Boston Home for the Blind. And one night he had a respiratory failure, and he leaves his body, and he's able to see. And he's actually able to see what his roommate does because his roommate hears something's wrong and gets up and stumbles to the door, and he's able to say who came in and what happened. But then he travels, like commonly they do, to this beautiful meadow. And he's in this beautiful place, and he sees these giant palm trees and light coming out of everything, which is amazing if you think about it, because a blind kid would never say that the light of heaven comes out of everything, because they would have only heard on earth that light shines on things. And yet Brad says the light was coming out of everything, which Revelation 21 tells us that there's no sun or moon in heaven. The glory of God is its light. Jesus, the Lamb, is its lamp, and nations will walk in that light. And so this blind kid confirms that. And then he walks up to this wall surrounding this city. And he doesn't know what he's 8 years old. And he says the wall was made like of gemstones. And the gemstones had this light coming out, and it almost looked like it was on fire. And he said, but I wanted to touch them, but I didn't touch them. And he keeps walking up along this wall. Now, understand, this is an 8-year-old kid. He doesn't realize he is describing what the Spirit showed John from up on a high mountain, the foundation stones of the New Jerusalem, of the city of God. And then this blind kid says he came to what looked like a tube through the wall. He called it a tube. Now, others I've interviewed, near-death experiencers, say this is a tunnel. The gates, one of the 12 gates into the New Jerusalem. And the wall's thick. It's 214 feet thick. And what they say is it's made, the entrance is this pearlescent material. It's pearl, but it's not like pearls like we would think. It's an otherworldly kind of material that's translucent and moving, and you can move through it. And that pearlescent material lines the entire 214 feet through that passageway. Now, I've heard other near-death experiencers describe that, but here's Brad, this blind kid, who then says he comes up to a part of the wall where there was a tube. And as he went into the tube, he realized it was smooth stone. It wasn't rough stone like the other stone. And that's all he said. It was smooth stone. But pearl is smooth. And then an arm of a man in a robe stops him and says, it's not your time yet. You have to go back. And Brad miraculously revives from what they said was clinical death. And he, as an 8-year-old kid, is able to convey this. And yet, I don't think he even realized that he was seeing a very real place, which God has prepared for all of us, the city of God, the New Jerusalem.